Hey guys, welcome back to the daily crypto market update. It's been a very red day, even though this looks really green and happy. It's not, because these are all liquidations. We've seen almost $900 million in liquidated longs over the last 24 hours. This has been the biggest single day liquidation. Let me check just over here. We almost beat the 25th of February crash today, which is incredible. Not really for the best reason ever, but still a very bearish start to the month. And unfortunately, there's just more bearish news happening all over the place. It all just happens at once. Why is this? Basically, Trump is ordering someone to be fired over jobs data, and he's just ranting. And then we have $1.1 trillion wiped out from the US stock market today. It's not just crypto, so don't feel like it's, just us. Then we have fun stuff like this. Trump has said, I have ordered 2 nuclear submarines to be positioned in appropriate regions near Russia. Why? Because Trump said the United States is totally prepared for nuclear war against Russia. Why even say that? Why even, that's foolishness. So how is the market reacting? How do you think the market's reacting to all this stuff happening at once? It's dumping pretty bad. Now, here's a couple of things to keep in mind for BTC. Big sigh. Trying to go slow here. The big news about Bitcoin is not good news. We have a very clear pierce of this support line right here. We have a low here at 112, which is not good at all. We almost closed the fair value gap, to be honest, which would have been great, but it's only halfway there. Yes, we're oversold for 2 days, down, 5%? And if it's green over the weekend, we get a retrace. Honestly, that would be even worse. And how could that even be worse, you ask? Why wouldn't that be a good thing? No, not really, because while we've closed the gap here for the CME, if all of a sudden we open up at 118,000 and we have a gap down here, we really don't, basically, we don't want to see Bitcoin go anywhere above the high here. So the high on the CME, just so you know, for future reference, is, let me get this thing going, is, oh my gosh, come on, $117,125. As long as Bitcoin stays below that, we won't have a new CME gap. We'll see what happens. But again, it's just frustrating to see everything collapse like this. And of course, as you may have noticed, there's a new RSI reset, which is actually kind of good. The last time we saw one of these was back on the 22nd of June. I had to find it again right here. So there was a drop and then there was a nice recovery. Could we see the same thing? Probably not, mainly because we broke a very significant support level. If anything, this is not good. If anything, we should actually see Bitcoin drag lower. How much lower? Well, I'm prepared to see it go as low as $100,000 based off of fibs that I've shared multiple times before. I mean, there's a very clear level of support here at 109,000, which will close the fair value gap. That seems to be what the plan is, at least, or what the direction is right now. And it gets worse. So on the TBO, we have a TBO Close Long. This blue diamond right here is the inverse of my favorite reversal symbol. So this is my least favorite bearish reversal symbol, TBO Close Long. Like these two back here. This one actually was incorrect. That's okay. I'm fine with that. But these two, spot on. Going back further, these two, spot on. These two, correct for a little pullback. So that was good. This one was early, but eventually we had our dump. So you can see why I don't really like this symbol. And it's been printed, so it's a done deal. The expected behavior for a close long is for the price to retrace back up to the fast line, just like it did back over here in June. That would be amazing. I'm not really expecting it. There is the possibility of a weekend pump because it's been a really terrible week. But a weekend pump just means that we go further down during the week. It gets our hopes up. And yes, I made a video yesterday talking about why this signal is so important, TBT Bearish Divergence. Now you know why. This really does put a dent in a lot of my expectations for price action for this month. I was feeling really excited about potential for Bitcoin to go up much higher up here towards $140,000 this month. While it could happen, the fact that it's pierced and now it's below this support level, it's just bad news all around. It's really discouraging. I'll just leave it at that, okay? Now, Ethereum also has not so great news. Of course, it followed Bitcoin as Bitcoin dumped, but of course, it's going to dump farther. And it printed a TBT Bearish Divergence signal, kind of like this one back over here. Yes, we saw a big move up, but eventually we saw it drop lower. Yeah, it's short term, oversold. That's true. The slow line is still pointing up. Same thing with Bitcoin. It's still macro bullish. It's just hard to see a pullback like this after things have been so bullish. But please don't say I didn't warn you, saying repeatedly over and over. Ethereum is at historical resistance. This is a very difficult level to break for it, and it has been ever since March 2024. So that's that. Stablecoin dominance. Combined stablecoin dominance, actually. Printed my favorite bullish reversal signal, except I hate seeing it on this chart. For starters, seeing stablecoin dominance increase actually means an increase in fear, an increase in long liquidations, an increase in drawdown for prices. Everyone's bearish, everyone's freaking out. This pretty much has put a stop, and it's canceled out our TBO breakdowns, which is, again, extremely disappointing. We saw a TBT Bullish Divergence back on, or rather confirmed on Friday, yesterday, but printed Thursday, just like these guys back over here. So it looks like we are headed for a short-term pop, another low. I want to say that the trend is still bearish, but it's just kind of looking weird and wonky here. It is kind of pointing down still, but this is admittedly not a great way to start August. Bitcoin dominance. This one also had a TBT Bullish Divergence signal. Not a great signal. Why? Because this lets us know that we should be seeing a bullish impulse. And a bullish impulse, Bitcoin dominance increasing, means typically that others is going to be suffering a lot. And all those alts that had such good promise last month, it seems like there's going to be a little bit of a pullback, which is disappointing. It's still too early to call it. But again, as long as the slow line here is flat, this means that we don't have a strong trend. We really want to see this slow line start to go down. But right now, it's not. It's going sideways. Total ES dominance, which is the total market cap, excluding stablecoins dominance, printed a TBT Bearish Divergence back here on Tuesday this week and confirmed a close long on yesterday's candle. It's fallen to support, but still, this is just not great. Slow line was just starting to look bullish. The last time we saw something like this was back over here in December. And then before that was in June 2024. And then before that, over here, March 2024. I know this is dashing a lot of our hopes and dreams of having a really nice, abundant August, but too much has happened in a short time and it's really tanked the market. I'd love to be wrong. Trust me, always love to be wrong about stuff like this. Others, also similar story, TBT Bearish Divergence here on Monday this week. And then finally, the death knoll right here is the TBO Close Long. It unfortunately lost support, so bye-bye to that. And slow line is starting to look kind of weak. The only thing that we can really see happening that could be bullish are RSI resets, but it's far too early. We really want to wait for a really deep reset like what we saw back over here in the middle of June, and we're just getting started, unfortunately. Now, it's not just us, like I shared before. The S&P had a pretty nasty day. Not only on Thursday did it close down 0.3%, there's actually a gap, which could be bullish because the gaps have to be filled. But don't say that too loud because there's a gap right here down at 6,000. But anyway, TBT Bearish Divergence signal. The slow line is kind of sort of moving up, but RSI has taken a massive dump on the S&P, probably because Trump's talking about going to war, nuclear war with Russia, firing people, weak jobs data, all this stuff. Not the August I thought it would be. And of course, because the S&P is dumping, the VIX is pumping big time. This is the biggest single day move I've seen for the VIX in a long time. If we were to measure it wick to wick, we're looking at 25%. I believe this actually beats what we saw over here. Oh, that's 28%, my bad. But this is still not good. And it's also a TBO close short. This is the first one that we've seen since February of this year, and we saw a pretty big increase. Now, I don't think we're going to see an increase like this, but whenever we start to see the VIX get up into this zone, up here from about 22. Then this hits our rejection zone where we should be expecting a pullback. Basically, this is like our peak fear zone. And we're almost there. We literally just kissed it. And other interesting news, Pax Gold is now pumping because Bitcoin is dumping. It actually moved up 4.29% on yesterday's move, printed a TBT Bullish Divergence and a close short in the same candle. Ouch. The slow line continues to point down. But what's weirder to me on this chart is something I shared with the Better Traders Club earlier this week. There was a single day buy of Pax Gold, 81 Bitcoin, and it barely moved the price. Now you might think, oh, that's because it has really thick order books. No, this chart doesn't. It has really weak and thin order books. The last time there was a huge injection of volume, 44 Bitcoin. Look at that upper wick right there. If we go back in time, right here, April 2024, look at the huge upper wick. And that was for how much? 80. And we saw literally no reaction. Very weird. But anyway, it's unfortunate and yeah, is what it is. Now, there's still, as positive as I sound right now, I know you all like you're just like, wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much. The reality is that there are still lots of opportunities for trading right now. And at the Better Traders, this is exactly what we teach, exactly what I do. I've been teaching people since 2019, November, bull markets, bear markets, all the fun stuff. And our course, 15 Minutes of Financial Freedom, is actually on sale right now. This one is a great course. It's a good course for anyone that is looking to get into automated trading, understanding DCA bot trading, trend trading, all that fun stuff. It comes with one-on-one coaching sessions. It comes with a 1-month trial to the Better Traders Club. It's a good course. It's a great deal. So let's talk about today's picks. Every single day, I look at a handful of coins that I think are really important, but I do pay attention to what you guys are posting as well. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what coins you're interested in. If you haven't liked the video already, first off, slap yourself and then go ahead and like the video and subscribe. And for all of you that want a gold star for the day, they'll be sent in the mail on Monday. Go ahead and share this video with others. I'm trying to grow my channel to 100,000 subs, and it only happens because of all you fantastic people. Let's get into it. So, yeah, we're going to have a lot of not so great news today, but it's news to know. Yesterday's video, I actually shared, I believe I did, and if not, I shared it in the club, but I was really nervous about Crow and seeing a TBT Bearish Divergence cluster, that yellow thing right there. Yesterday, or rather Thursday night, it printed this, and then Friday, and then again Friday, 2 TBO Close Longs. The price has fallen down quite a bit since then, but then here we go, TBT Bearish Divergence. So the reason why I focus on the 4-hour time frame is because I really like being a little bit early. It's quite early. Just so you know, this level at which it was triggered is technically right here, 1445. And we didn't get confirmation until the price fell another just about 10%. So that's why I really like using the 4-hour. But now that we have this on the daily, it's a little bit of a hit. I'm not gonna lie. It's not a really fun thing to see. Solana also not so great. So sorry, I forgot to say the pink flag right here denotes a TBT Bearish Divergence update. Just want to share that. These blue flags, these are talking, or rather, these are flagging TBO Close Longs, just like we saw here for Total ESD and others. So Solana dropped so much farther than I was expecting it to. I will say though, and it's going to sound like hopium, but when we see really big sell-offs like this, it's interesting to see how well the price bounces off of the TBO medium slow line. So there's the fast line, that's thick green, medium fast, medium slow, slow. See how the price has fallen to this last line right there? It actually does this quite often and it bounces from there. Not every time, but it's a good indication that it could. We also have a close long, which means the price should be going back up to the TBO fast line, which is currently at $174. A nice bounce like that over the weekend would be great. Solana does have a CME chart though, and as long as it doesn't go above 176, which could work, actually, that wouldn't be so bad, then we should be okay to see that move up there to 175. It really depends on what happens though. Like it's just not a good market right now. It's quite shaky. Bearish cross on balance volume, but volume in general is good, at least. SUI also had a pretty bad drop. This one had good volume on the drop, but a bearish cross on OBV, no RSI reset on this mess of lines. We need to hide a lot of stuff first to talk about a couple of things. For one, resistance has been really frustrating and difficult for SUI this week. It's been pretty rough, I'm not going to lie. It does have very strong support. If this support level is even tested or broken, this really sets SUI back a lot. I don't think it will happen. I think that charts that are just massively oversold like this are bound to have some sort of a rebound, and it looks like that could be happening. The not so great news is that SUI kind of stopped at the 618, but really pierced it. That's not a good sign. We want to see it tag it or get close to it and then bounce off of it. I would love to see a big move from the 618 to the 786, which is a 20% move. But honestly, that's like pure hopium. I don't really see a need, or rather a reason why that would happen unless the whole market recovers together. In regards to the TBO, it has a TBO close long, again, super frustrating, and it negates our breakouts. Even though the slow line is kind of heading up, it's pretty rough. And of course, to top it all off, we have a TBT Bearish Divergence right at the tip top up here. Now, this isn't confirmed until Tuesday, but still, Monday's sell-off was pretty painful. Now, the reality is that I actually think SUI has a pretty bright future ahead of it. I think that it can go up a lot higher despite this minor pullback. And I actually have a video that's coming out tomorrow that I'm really excited about that I've already shared with people in the Better Traders Club. So if you want to see that video, you got to make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications, and you will get filled in on why I think SUI will have a pretty nasty pullback over the next bear market. All right, let's keep going. Link. This one also printed a TBO close long yesterday. It fell to the 0.5, no RSI reset. Volume is still good, but this is a bearish cross, obviously, for volume. Bonk also, TBO close long back over here confirmed yesterday. But the one thing that's good about this chart compared to some others is that it appears to have found support. So this dotted line right here that I've highlighted, let's remove that because it's kind of annoying. It's actually it looks like it can bounce right here off support, which would be really great at 25.37. Again, the first target is always the fast line, which is at 29.16 right now. It'll move throughout the day, but it's still not a good look. Speaking of not a good look, SPX took another hit yesterday, falling down 5%. Not as big as other charts, which is good considering the pullback. And it did fall back to support right here, which is positive. So again, we want to see SPX go back up here to like 174, where the TBO fast line is. And yes, this isn't good. We've seen this before, and it chops a lot until finally it breaks up higher. Now, the one thing that's not great about the slow line is it's starting to slow down. It's not moving up as strong anymore because of the pullback. We'll see what happens there. No RSI reset. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Floki, this one also, TBO close long, so we have a short-term target at the fast line. It did fall down to TBO support right over here, but still not a great looking chart. Now, not everything is bad, to be honest. ENA has actually held up really well. Yesterday, it actually closed up 1.76%. Today, it's up 1%. Volume looks amazing. So does on-balance volume. The slow line is starting to curl up. I'm honestly impressed with this chart. I can't believe it's doing so well. Same thing with TON. TON is looking amazing right now. It put in a local high on Thursday at 3.688. And over here, the local high before that was 3.694. It's really strange to me that TON is doing so well while the rest of the market is tanking. Because while the rest of the market has been doing so well during this period of June and July, TON's done nothing. So maybe TON is actually having its moment where it's turning around. I am excited about this TBT Bullish Divergence. Hopefully we will see TON make a bigger impulse. RSI isn't yet overbought, but I mean, this is one of the best looking charts out there right now. And don't be surprised to see the market follow charts that are doing well, especially when everything is dumping. Litecoin was actually surprising yesterday. Now, this is Bitfinex, so it does have lower volume, but you can see here, check out the base to quote currency converter. Volume yesterday, 6.3 million versus the average of 1.6 million, like 5 times the average, which is crazy. Maybe 4 times is a better way to put it. But let's check out other exchanges to see if we have the same kind of demand. Well, yeah, volume exceeded the moving average yesterday, which is good, even though RSI is obviously falling lower and price is starting to droop. But the price is actually holding at TBO resistance, which is now acting as support, which is a really positive sign. Again, I'd love to see Litecoin go up higher. I have a position in Litecoin still, and I think I would love to see it beat the market, but things are pretty shaky right now. The fact that it just closed up barely at 0.45% yesterday is just weird, considering the fact that Bitcoin did not do well, especially Ethereum had a pullback. Pengu, this one is actually having a TBO springboard bounce moment, which is amazing considering it has a TBT Bearish Divergence signal. But yesterday, 1.5%, it went inside the cloud a little bit, but it's actually starting to bounce just a smidge. It has a short-term target of 0.041381, the TBO resistance, sorry, 0.041653. Now into some important things to watch. That's why these are red. So the important things to watch are a couple of these charts that are just massively oversold, and they're all doing essentially the same thing, which is an RSI reset. This is when we see a huge flush in price action, which forces RSI to dump down to oversold levels below 25. I use RSI with a length of 7, just so you know if you want to use the same levels as I am. So an RSI reset is only confirmed once we see the orange line, which represents RSI, go above or cross above 25. But these are ones to watch. SHIB, AAVE, Pepe, Tau. You notice some of these also have close longs on here. Fartcoin, Aptos, Trump, Virtual, and HNT, which looks to be the one chart that will probably do it today. Yesterday's close of 6% is pretty rough. It did fall down to the slow line-ish. It really needs to push above this previously broken level of support, which was resistance, and it unfortunately did not confirm it as support. Now, I know I don't repeat the same charts every single day, and that's not on purpose, I guess I should say. I just really want to focus on what's happening right now. The main thing to focus on is if this weekend is going to have a little bit of a bounce. Bitcoin is still massively oversold. I'm still not really excited at all about the fact that it broke this, that it printed a TBT Divergence, bearish one, TBO Close Long, but it does have a very, 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 did I say very? A very weak RSI reset because it closed at 24.57. It's a very sticky situation to be in right now. It's not a good place to be, but there is hope. And if we do see a nice recovery on the weekend and you're buying the dip, do not forget to sell on the bounce. This is exactly what I talk about in the club. It's what I talk about in the Better Traders course, 15 Minutes to Financial Freedom. You guys you got to make sure that you understand and you follow through a DCA strategy if you're going to do it. And that's what I teach in our courses, okay? So again, subscribe to the channel so that way you get updated on my video about SUI coming out tomorrow. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.